Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT News.
Now at 7 o'clock, a car crash shuts down a busy Lexington road, and traffic engineers estimate that repairs could take hours. Plus, city leaders shut down a Lexington bar after numerous complaints of fights and shootings. And a judge has ruled that a councilwoman can remain on the ballot this November. We have these stories and more, plus breaking news as it happens, coming up on WKYT this morning. Good morning to you on this Saturday. It is October 4th. I'm Whitney Watzel.
And I'm Mike Linden. It is chilly out there as we get started here on this Saturday. So, Whitney, my advice to folks out there, if you're heading outside this morning, maybe taking the dog on a walk, make sure you have a jacket. Make sure the little dog has a jacket, too. It might be a good idea. It is chilly out there. Chillier than it's been lately. Looking at temperatures in the lower 40s for most spots in Danville there, coming in at 39 degrees. How about that? It's not the winter just yet, but some spots starting to feel a little bit like it. Now, if we look at First Alert Defender, we are seeing some wraparound moisture from the low and the cold front that arrived yesterday. That's pushed off to the northeast of us, but you can still see some of that wraparound moisture mainly to the north and in southern Indiana. But coming up in about 10 minutes, here's what I'll be talking about for my full forecast. Of course, we'll talk about your afternoon ahead and how cool it should feel, as well as the wind chill. With the wind sticking around throughout your weekend, it should make it feel that much cooler, and there is still a chance for more rain, especially as we head into the work week next week. So I'll be back in 10 minutes with your full forecast, including my hour-by-hour breakdown of that rainfall.
All right, Mike, thanks. Happening right now, police are on the scene of a car crash that will likely close down a busy Lexington intersection for most of this morning. Let's go to WKYT's Mark Barber. He is live at Nicholasville Road in Man of War with more on what we can expect. Good morning, Mark.
Good morning, Whitney. Officers say that the traffic lights here at Nicholasville and Man of War Boulevard are out because a car crashed into a traffic control box here several hours ago. Now, police say they are now looking for the driver of the Toyota Yaris because he walked away from 3 passengers in the car. Investigators tell us the passengers told them that the driver may have crashed the car on purpose. Police say he could be charged with wanton endangerment as well as leaving the scene. Officers are now hoping someone with information will send in a tip that will lead them to the driver. We're told the good news this morning is that no one was hurt. Now, engineers are working this morning to repair that traffic control box, but I'm told it may not be fixed until 10:30 this morning. So as traffic starts to pick up this morning, I'm told drivers can expect to see delays here. Live in Lexington, Mark Barber, WKYT.
Mark, thank you. The hearing went on for hours. Now the question is, should a Fayette County Council member be allowed to run for re-election? Siobhan Akers' challenger raised questions about whether she lived inside her district and if she had enough signatures from voters to run. After hearing from multiple people, a judge made a decision last night. WKYT's Garrett Weimer has this story.
I think it's a disappointment in the leadership, in the court systems.
But candidate Michael Stewart says ultimately it's now in the voters' hands after a judge inside Fayette Circuit Court ruled incumbent council member Siobhan Akers can stay on the ballot this November.
If you review the case law, it was clear that there weren't any issues here.
But the hearing lasted nearly 6 hours as Akers' challenger challenged whether she had met the requirements to run for re-election. After her hearing, Akers told us she's glad she won't have the court case distracting her from next month's election.
I look forward to getting back on the campaign trail. I look forward to doing my duties as a council member instead of spending my time in courtrooms. And I look forward to serving the district for another 2 years.
We've already agreed.
The judge said evidence shows Akers clearly had more than 100 signatures, and he didn't buy Stewart's argument that Akers was living outside of her district.
It's a disappointing day, but we'll continue on with the campaign. We'll continue knocking on doors, and we'll let the voters of the 2nd District decide.
A decision made outside this courthouse in just 1 month. In Lexington, Garrett Weimer, WKYT.
Stewart and his attorneys say they'll talk this weekend about whether or not to appeal. It is 7:04 and WKYT will host the first televised debate for the Lexington mayoral race tomorrow. Mayor Jim Gray and challenger Anthony Beatty will square off right here at 6 on the CW Lexington. We'll stream the debate live on Kentucky.com and WKYT.com as well. Our own Bill Bryant will moderate the debate. The Lexington Herald leader and the Kentucky League of Women Voters will also assist in questioning for that debate. The search continues for a Bath County man wanted for murder. State police are looking for 34-year-old Kevin Howard. They've already arrested another suspect in the case, 55-year-old Charles Black. Police found a body in Fleming County on Wednesday. They say Black admitted to using that victim's ATM card and driving his car. Now, while the victim hasn't been identified, police say the car belonged to Randall Russ, who was a teacher that disappeared from Grant County all the way back in August. A former Kentucky lawmaker spending life in prison will now get a chance to argue that he should be able to withdraw his guilty plea. Steve Nunn is serving a life sentence for the 2009 murder of his former fiancée, Amanda Ross. But he filed a motion in February to withdraw his guilty plea because his attorney failed him. A hearing on that motion will be held on October 30th in Fayette Circuit Court. A fourth person faces charges for a shooting at a Danville pizza shop. Danville police say they arrested a 16-year-old in Harrodsburg Friday afternoon. He's now charged with robbery and assault. Yesterday, police arrested Rico Penix, Robin Adams, and Patrick Brand on those same charges. They say 21-year-old Zoe Reed was shot last month at the Domino's pizza shop where she worked. She is still in serious condition at UK Hospital. Police are searching for a man who robbed a Lexington bank at gunpoint. Investigators released these surveillance pictures of that robber. They say around 3:30 yesterday afternoon, he walked into the People's Exchange Bank on Richmond Road at North Hanover Avenue. The robber pulled out a gun, demanded money, and then took off. No one was hurt. Police say the same bank was robbed around 6 months ago. A Lexington bar has been forced to shut its doors. A judge ordered the Art Bar on Euclid Avenue to close until a hearing next week. The bar has been the center of controversy after 2 shootings near the bar that involved rowdy crowds and police. The city's Board of Adjustments recently revoked the Art Bar's conditional use permit. That meant the bar was supposed to close immediately, but city leaders say the bar ignored the move and opened anyway. After Friday's hearing, the owner's attorney thinks they're one step closer to reaching a solution that will benefit everyone in the community.
And we think that we are coming to common ground for something that makes sense for both the business community that are involved in this adventure as well as the community. So yes, I definitely believe that we're moving in the right direction, and I'm very hopeful that we'll have a permanent resolution shortly.
Another hearing is scheduled for next Friday at 11:30 to determine if the bar will have to close permanently. Kentucky State Police are trying to track down a 15-year-old girl in Madison County. Troopers say Sierra Reinhardt has been missing since about 1 Friday morning. She was last seen in the parking lot of the BP station off of exit 95 on I-75. Sierra is 5'6" and 135 pounds. Well, we have a happy ending to report for a dog found abandoned. The Lexington Humane Society says they found a home for Felicity, the pit bull puppy found with a profane word burned into her skin with chemicals. She had surgery for those injuries and has been recovering at the Humane Society ever since. Officials there say while they're glad Felicity's found a home, parting with her will be bittersweet.
We're sad to see her go, but we're really excited for her future.
Ashley Hammond says Felicity is already at home with her new family. Time now coming up on 7:09, and WKYT This Morning is just getting started.
Follow WKYT online at WKYT.com. Join the conversation on Twitter and become a part of the WKYT Facebook family.
Welcome back to WKYT This Morning. Here is an update on our top stories. Lexington police say they've shut down a busy intersection this morning after a car crashed into a traffic control box overnight. They believe repairs could extend well into the morning hours. Lexington police are also looking for this man who they say robbed a bank on Richmond Road yesterday. They say he entered the bank carrying a gun and demanded cash. He then got away after taking some money. Police have not made any arrests in this case. A dog burned by chemicals has finally been adopted. The Lexington Humane Society says Felicity has gone to a good home. They still have a $3,500 reward for information that leads to her abuser's arrest.
Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT News.
Now at 7:30, a car crash has shut down a busy Lexington road, and traffic engineers estimate that repairs could take hours. Plus, city leaders shut down a Lexington bar after numerous complaints of fights and shootings. And a judge has ruled a councilwoman can remain on the ballot this November. We have these stories and more, plus breaking news as it happens, coming up on WKYT this morning. Good morning to you on this chilly October Saturday. I'm Whitney Wetzel.
And I'm Mike Linden. That's right, Whitney. It is chilly outside, but at least it looks nice from inside looking out. Check out the sky cam right now. A beautiful start so far to the day. You can see Defender there in the bottom left-hand corner, and it is tracking the skies. And right now, we're just not really seeing very much, especially compared to what we looked like yesterday morning with widespread wet weather as that front was passing. But now behind that front, still some wraparound moisture left over, but the conditions are a lot clearer and a lot cooler as that front brought in cold air from Canada. Check out our current temperatures right now, sitting in the low 40s and upper 30s. But I'll be back in about 10 minutes to break down what you can expect throughout your Saturday, and I'll take you hour by hour so we can take a look at when that rain should return. That's ahead in about 10 minutes.
All right, Mike, thank you. Happening right now, police are on the scene of a car crash that will likely close down a busy Lexington intersection for much of this morning. Let's go to WKYT's Mark Barber. He joins us live at Nicholasville Road in Man of War with more on what to expect. Mark, good morning.
Good morning, Whitney. Traffic engineers are trying to repair the traffic control box here at Nicholasville and Man of War after they say a driver slammed into that box. Now, they say it may be up to 3 hours before they're able to make those repairs. Now, officers tell us the traffic lights here at one of Lexington's busiest intersections lost power when a driver slammed into it around 4 a.m. Now, police say they are looking for the driver because he walked away from 3 passengers in the car. We're told no one was hurt. Now, investigators tell us the passengers told them that the driver may have crashed the car on purpose. Police say he could be charged with wanton endangerment as well as leaving the scene. Now, back out here live, you can see several officers are out here directing traffic, and I'm told as the morning progresses and as traffic starts to pick up even more, drivers can expect to see delays. Live in Lexington, Mark Barber, WKYT.
Mark, thank you. A Fayette Circuit judge has ruled incumbent council member Siobhan Akers can stay on the ballot this November. In a nearly 6-hour hearing last night, Akers challenger Michael Stewart disputed whether or not Akers had met the requirements to run.
Disappointing day, but we'll continue on with the campaign. We'll continue knocking on doors, and we'll let the voters of the 2nd District decide.
Stewart and his attorneys say they'll talk this weekend about whether or not to appeal that ruling. WKYT will host the first televised debate for the Lexington mayoral race tomorrow. Mayor Jim Gray and challenger Anthony Beatty will square off right here at 6 on the CW Lexington. We'll also stream the debate live on Kentucky.com and WKYT.com. Our own Bill Bryant will moderate the debate. The Herald Leader and the Kentucky League of Women Voters will also assist in questioning for that debate. Time now is 7:34. A former Kentucky lawmaker spending life in prison will now get a chance to argue that he should be able to withdraw his guilty plea. Steve Nunn is serving a life sentence for the 2009 murder of his former fiancée Amanda Ross, but he filed a motion in February to withdraw his guilty plea because his attorney failed him. A hearing on that motion will be held on October 30th in Fayette Circuit Court. Police are still searching for a Bath County man who's wanted for murder. Kentucky State Troopers say they're looking for 37-year-old Kevin Howard. Police have already arrested another suspect in the case, 55-year-old Charles Black. Investigators found a body in Fleming County on Wednesday. They say Black admitted to using that victim's ATM card and driving his car. While the victim hasn't been identified yet, police say the car belonged to Randall Russ, a teacher who disappeared from Grant County back in August. Lexington police are searching for a suspect involved in an armed bank robbery. Police released these surveillance pictures of that suspect. Around 3:30 yesterday, police say this man walked into the People's Exchange Bank on Richmond Road. He then pulled out a gun and demanded money. According to Lexington police, this isn't the first time this bank has been robbed. It was also robbed about 6 months ago. Kentucky State Police are trying to find a missing 15-year-old girl out of Madison County. Troopers say Sierra Reinhardt has been missing since about 1 yesterday morning. She was last seen in the parking lot of the BP station off exit 95 on I-75. Sierra is 5'6" and 135 pounds. The investigation into the disappearance of University of Virginia student Hannah Graham continues. Last week, police charged Jesse Matthew with abduction. Authorities have also linked Matthew to a separate UVA death 5 years ago. Andy Fox talked with CNU President Paul Tribble about Matthew's time at the school.
Christopher Newport University President Paul Tribble.
Do you remember Jesse Matthew?
No. In 2003, Jesse Matthew was a student here at CNU. On September 7, 2003, he was a football player at the school when campus police investigated him for a sexual assault on campus. For the first time, CNU President Tribble is talking about Matthew and the sexual assault.
I can't speak to the disciplinary action that CNU undertook because I would violate federal law, but I can tell you that very soon after that turn of events, Mr. Matthew was gone.
5 days after that complaint was filed against Matthew, he was kicked off the football team, and he would leave the school altogether 1 month after that.
The CNU Police Department fully investigated the matter. There were no physical injuries reported, and the victim declined to prosecute the case criminally.
President Tribble says the victim in the case was encouraged to pursue the charge, to report it to Newport News Police, but chose not to.
Every victim, when they step forward, are encouraged to report that incident to the Commonwealth's attorney and to the local police. And our PD facilitate that.
Newport News Police have no record of the incident. Chief Richard Myers.
We don't have any records indicating we were involved in that investigation.
Now, Hannah Graham disappeared on September 13th. Police believe Jesse Matthew was the last person with her before she went missing. Your time now is 7:38, and WKYT This Morning is just getting started. Coming up after the break, we have a real treat for you this morning. Our own Sam Dick and Amber Philpott will join us live at the 18th annual Susan G. Komen Race for the Cure in downtown Lexington. October is also Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and in support, thousands of runners will take to the streets of downtown Lexington this morning for the 18th annual Susan G. Komen Race for the Cure.
WKYT's Amber Philpott and Sam Dick are up bright and early this morning, joining us live from downtown Lexington for the annual race to help fight breast cancer. Good morning, guys.
Good morning from downtown Lexington. Sam Dick and Amber Philpott, freezing at Race for the Cure, but hey, we've got a lot of great stuff going on down here this morning.
Absolutely. The sun is up, and I usually say, you know, you're brave if you come out in this cold, but there are a lot of folks who are really brave who have come out here this morning. We're all in support of breast cancer, the fight against breast cancer, the survivors that are down here. Take a look at this crowd that's already out. The race gets underway at 9 o'clock, and it takes an army to put this on down here.
Yeah, if you see a lot of pink downtown, this is what we're doing down here. That's the Komen Cafe over there. About 8:15, 8:30, we're going to have the survivors out for their picture and their walk. So a lot going on. It's a serious subject, but also we're having fun, and it's all about being together on this.
One of the things I like to do, I like to scope out people in the crowd, and I like to find the fun T-shirts. I have Michelle with me, Rachel's Rack Pack, and you're here in support of a really dear friend, aren't you?
Yes, Rachel Maynard from Cynthiana, Kentucky. And during this chilly weather, it's nothing compared to what they have to endure with the fight. And we're here to support that with Rachel's Rack Pack, and we're just more excited to be here.
Absolutely. I see another T-shirt over here. How many on the team that's going to be down here today?
We've got over 25 people.
Oh, wonderful. And 25 people, that's a lot of money. I know that you guys have probably raised. Do you have any idea?
I know that she was like number 3 in the total. We've worked really hard to raise as much money possible to support this.
Absolutely. Thanks so much. She was so nervous about being on, but you did great. Have fun today.
I love it, the Rack Pack.
Yeah.
Great. You can't do something like this without sponsorship. Dr. Greg White, White, Greer, and Maggard here in Lexington, thank you for the second year in a row for sponsoring this. Why do you support this?
Well, first of all, thank you very much, Sam. Really appreciate that. We support this primarily because we just want to be associated with people people just as courageous as these women are, who are battling this each and every day. The families involved in it. We just think it's amazing, the stories that you hear and the courage that you see witnessed by each of these individuals. So we're proud to be part of that.
You probably have patients that come and tell you, hey, I'm dealing with this, and you have to listen to their stories, and so that's a connection there as well.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And not only that, but just people within our team at White Brewer and Maggard too that are experiencing this firsthand, either themselves or their family members. So we see it each and every day.
All right. Well, thanks so much to you. And again, this is such a great day. It's going to be going on throughout the morning, but the most important thing, you still have time to get down here. The race starts at 9 o'clock. You can jump in with Sam and I and run that course.
We promise it's going to warm up on the run. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Good morning. I hope you're enjoying the start to your weekend. The midterm election is a month away and candidates are on the move. Freshman Republican Congressman Andy Barr of Lexington is the guest on this weekend's edition of Kentucky Newsmakers. He faces Democratic challenger Elizabeth Jensen, who appeared on the program a couple of weeks ago. Barr talks about several topics, including his concern about the terrorism threat from ISIS.
So you've got a serious threat. Thousands of these terrorist fighters have access to Western passports that do not require a visa to enter the United States. So this really truly is a clear and present danger to the United States and our allies and to the national security of our country. Unfortunately, this was a preventable threat. President Obama did not just end the war in Iraq, he abandoned the war in Iraq, and against the advice, against the wisdom of many of the military leadership in the Pentagon, our diplomatic corps, people like Ambassador Ryan Crocker, Ambassador James Jeffrey, who was President Obama's first ambassador to Iraq. All of them said you need a residual security force left in place after the withdrawal in December of 2011. President Obama ignored that advice, and the result is the rise of a terrorist threat that's even more dangerous than al-Qaeda.
However we got here, this is now. Congressman Senator McConnell has been supportive of the president's strategy so far in assisting Syrian rebels who stand against ISIS and doing these airstrikes ongoing. Do you agree with that strategy so far?
I did vote for the president's narrow request, the train and equip piece, which was put on the floor of the House of Representatives a couple weeks ago, right before we left town. I supported the president because the president did on national television. He finally acknowledged the growing threat of ISIL. I think he outlined the objective clearly, which is to degrade and defeat ISIL. I agree with that objective. I remain concerned that the train and equip strategy is insufficient. In fact, when we received our briefings from the chairman of the Joint Chiefs and many in the State Department and the Pentagon, members of Congress received those briefings. What was emphasized was that this may be a necessary piece of the strategy to achieve the objective, but not sufficient. Those were the words of the president's own chairman of the Joint Chiefs. So in response to that, I did support the train and equip request, but I also joined a couple of my colleagues, Chris Stewart from Utah and Marlon Stutzman from Indiana, and we wrote a letter to the chairman of the House Armed Services Committee, Buck McKeon, and the vice chairman and the incoming chairman, Mac Thornberry, and we requested that the House of Representatives do our job in terms of robust oversight, that we bring in some of the military commanders, the retired military brass who are veterans of the Iraq campaign, and have them give us, tell the American people what is at stake, what is truly going to be required to prevail, to achieve victory with honor.
Now, to see the full interview with Congressman Barr, set your DVR or catch Kentucky Newsmakers tomorrow morning at 6 on WKYT or on its repeat at 10 over on the CW Lexington. Don't forget the Lexington mayoral debate coming up tomorrow evening at 6 on the CW Lexington. Go Cats! I'm Bill Bryant, and we'll be right back.